Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Helmet to Helmet, talking about the AAF, the Alliance of American Football, Week 3. Just happened in the books. I'm Mason.
And this is Ian.
And let's get into it. The first game that happened was on Saturday between Salt Lake and Arizona. This was a rematch of Week 1, if I remember correctly.
I think so, yeah.
And Arizona ended up winning by 12 or so, like 37.
It was the only close game that week.
It was a close game. Salt Lake gets the revenge. They are no longer a winless team. They win 23-15. Big news for Arizona. John Wolford, the starting quarterback, gets injured. Trevor Knight comes in. He goes 8 of 17 for 95 yards. Salt Lake's Josh Woodrum, 22 of 31, 178 yards and a touchdown. Plus, they got the 2-point conversion. Ian, what did you think of this game?
I mean, I know it's going to really hurt losing their starting quarterback, but Trevor Knight isn't awful. He's going to be serviceable. It will be more interesting to see if the other quarterback can come back or if it's a lingering injury. But I liked that it was another close game. You know, it was interesting. I'm not necessarily missing the NFL right now, and that's what this league is trying to do. So
it's definitely helping, and especially it's easier to not miss the NFL during this season because it's still draft season. We can get excited for that. But
shameless plug, right?
Oh, yeah, if you're interested in draft coverage, Helmet to Helmet does a weekly draft coverage. We're going through all of the ranks. # shameless plug. It airs on Thursdays at 1:30. Please check it out. In the game, I've been hyping up Salt Lake. I've been saying they're better than their 0-2 record. I'm glad that they finally came through for me and won a game. That makes me look a lot better.
Yeah. I was about to say it's starting to go into that weak mode where it's like, oh, no, if he says it again and they don't do it.
No, they looked good. DeMornay Pearson ended up having 90 yards. I'm sure I butchered his name.
Oh, I don't know how to say it, but
yeah. No one else is really. You look at these numbers and you're like, oh, these aren't much. But for a new league, these are decent numbers.
I mean, it's not like all these guys have never played football before. These are the guys that just barely didn't make it in the NFL or the NFL, so then they came here, but they don't really want to go to Canada. So or some of them came from Canada. It's going to be a good mixture of people that are all on the same level, I feel.
Yeah, absolutely. No huge standouts for Salt Lake or Arizona, but just a solid lake.
A solid lake.
A solid lake. A solid win. For the Stallions.
Yeah, a solid game.
Yeah. Next up, the Orlando Apollos survive the Memphis Express, which isn't something we were expecting to say.
I said last week that I thought Memphis was the worst team in the AAF, but they kind of showed that Orlando might not be as great as we all thought, or maybe Memphis just had bad luck, and maybe that comes to some of their in-game coaching decisions, but it was another good game. Apollo hangs on.
Yeah, decent defense by Memphis. Garrett Gilbert only goes 14 of 28, 207 yards and a touchdown. Christian Hackenberg is finally benched. He threw 2 picks before getting benched for Zach Mettenberger, who came in. Yeah,
really? Right? I forgot about him.
He went 9 of 12, 120 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He looked good for once. I mean, I haven't thought about him until he came on the course. I haven't thought about him since he was at LSU.
I haven't thought about him since Titan days.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He was with the Titans, only for a year or something. He was like, I give up, and just left. But wow, yeah. Maybe Spurrier's coaching is not as great as we once thought, or maybe this was just a fluke game. But
I think, and we've seen this from Memphis the past 2 weeks, their defense is good. They've got a strong defense. It's the offense that struggled, especially with Christian Hackenberg. And so now that he's been switched out, this could be a team that surprises a few people. Maybe not a great team, but someone that wins at least a few more games, gets a couple of upset bids because of that strong defense. They looked good.
Especially against, I think, the best team.
Yeah. I mean, Garrett Gilbert almost had 400 yards last week, so now to cut that basically in half with 207, that's impressive. Hold him to 1 touchdown. I mean,
the highest scoring offense being stopped by the best defense, really.
Yeah. Orlando's been putting up he put up 40 on Atlanta. How many did he put up in week 2? A bunch.
They've been keeping up. Like, they have a great point per game at this point.
This was a great game by Memphis, even though they lost.
Yeah, they get a congratulations, a thumbs up.
Womp womp.
You're still 0-3, but you tried.
Next up, Hometown Legends hosted their first AAF game. Hosted the Iron. Took a 3-0 lead, and then lost 28-12. Luis Perez for the Iron went 17 of 31. No touchdowns, 160 yards. Matt Sims,
Boo.
28 of 48. One touchdown, not one, not two, but 3 interceptions.
Wow.
Yeah. He played atrociously. Though, he did lead Atlanta in rushing yards. Only person to eclipse double digits. He had 27. Yeah. Wadley had 3 rushes for 9 yards. Denard Robinson had 3 rushes for 7 yards. And Lawrence Pittman had 5 carries and 6 yards. Trent Richardson for the Iron, 17 carries, had 46 yards and 3 touchdowns. Cool little fact about him, though. He's had 6 touchdowns now. All of them have come within 5 yards or less from the end zone. Every single one. So he's not a guy that's just going to break away from you.
And he can't really find holes that well, but
No.
if you're right there in the goal line, he'll find a way. But,
This was an ugly game for Atlanta, and it seems to be they look fine until they give up their first points. And it's as soon as they give up those first points that they shut down as a team.
They just have that quitting mentality. I feel like it's like, oh, we scored. Young Hoku is the only one that can score. And then it's just like, oh, they scored on us. I guess we just give up now. It's like, no, your name is the Legends. You're not acting like a legend doing that.
Because we got up 6-0 on Orlando in week 1, and then they scored 40 on us, and we just couldn't do anything after they scored.
Yeah, that was bad.
In week 2, we got up 9-0, and then they just pounced on us. We only scored 3 points the rest of the game. It was ridiculous.
And I guess that's just the Atlanta curse of, getting up a certain number of points and then blowing it. But Birmingham's a really good team, and I'm glad Atlanta's finally kind of getting to double digits.
We're starting to look some better, but I think Atlanta looks like the worst team in the league.
Well, we at least have the best kicking game, I'd say.
Young Hoku was 2 for 2 with a long of 35.
Woo.
Yeah, scorching them. And finally, San Diego and San Antonio played the Battle of California and Texas, liberals and conservatives. The Commanders get up 8-0 and then lose 31-11 to the Fleet. Philip Nelson for the Fleet was 17 of 25, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Logan Woodside was 12 of 23, 151 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. What do you think, Ian?
I mean, the Fleet just kind of shows that they're one of the better teams, and the Commanders, I don't know if this was their off game, but I didn't see them clicking really this whole game. It just miscues and just little moments where I'm like, I thought they were slightly better than that, but it's only the 3rd week, so benefit of the doubt,
Yeah, they absolutely crumbled. From the first 2 plays, they get an interception and a touchdown, and it looks like they're going to pounce all over San Diego. They just absolutely crumbled and fell apart the rest of the game. They couldn't move the ball. They couldn't do anything. They couldn't get out of their own way, really. San Diego definitely impressed, especially with that long, 83-yard run, longest in AAF history.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I think there was also a Frisbee thrown to a dog for 83 yards during one of the halftimes.
That was Orlando's halftime.
Okay, I just wanted to throw that in there, as both of us members of the Frisbee team here.
All right. Anything else you want to say about the games?
No, just another good week of football. It kind of makes me forget that the Combine's coming up and makes the time in between better. So, good job, AAF, so far. Good job.
Let's go into the power rankings. I think you and I both agree on number 1 and number 2, which are the Orlando Apollos and the Birmingham Iron.
Not really much to say. I think these are the 2 best teams. I would love to see them play against each other.
I think they play week 5.
Ooh, we're getting close.
It's getting exciting. Hopefully they'll both be undefeated. This is an interesting race between a high-powered offense and a strong and stout defense. Number 3. This is where you and I start to differ.
Yes.
You still have the Hotshots.
Yeah, I mean, they did lose, but 23-15, it's just a score. It's not too bad of a difference. So I'm going to give them the 1 point. You got 3rd still for me.
I ended up having the San Diego Fleet here. And I think I was really impressed with the way that they ran over the Commanders. Even if the Commanders are a bad team, the way that they were able to bounce back from an interception and then giving up the touchdown was incredibly impressive. But also, I'm not that high on the Hotshots, especially once they're missing their starting quarterback. I don't believe in Trevor Knight that much. Number 4, I have the Salt Lake Stallions. Even though they're 1-2, I think this team is so much better than their record. They are starting to look cohesive. They're going to be a dangerous team. Watch out.
See, I have the Fleet here because I thought, they still maintained, and they just had the biggest scoring margin of any game this last week, 31-11. So Fleets remains at number 4 for me.
Yeah, number 5, I've got Hotshots, which we were just talking about. No
Yeah,
quarterback.
We just slightly switch those up,
Yeah, no quarterback. It's a good team, but not good enough to overcome this quarterback deficit.
And for my 5th, I have the Commanders because, I mean, they're not bad. I think the top 5 teams here, or top 6 teams, are really good and just are missing out on just a few things, but they're my 5th place.
Yeah, I've got the Commanders at 6 because they looked awful against the Fleet. They had 2 good plays, and then the rest of the game, they just looked bad. I don't really believe in them as a strong team. I mean, that's it, really. I don't think they're a strong team.
I could see that. I know this is going to hurt you, but I have the Stallions at 6th.
That's wrong.
Because for whatever reason, you are in love with them, but I don't know. I don't see it fully yet. And I know that they did beat the Hotshots, and the Hotshots I have listed higher, but it's a power ranking, and to me, I still feel like they're a slightly better team. And we'll see as the league goes on. I'm probably completely wrong, but hey, that's what this is fun for.
And I think the most interesting change you and I both have,
we
both agree at number 7 is the Memphis Express.
I didn't think they'd move up this week, but a really solid 0-3 performance.
Stifling defense and a change at offense is all they really needed.
Yeah, I mean, they're not bad. The first week, they were bad. Second week, they showed a lot of improvement. And this third week, they already said, we're going to try to win this game. And they almost did.
To be fair, all you have to do to be above 8 is show a pulse.
Oh.
Just have a pulse. And that takes us to number 8. The
hometown heroes.
The Atlanta Legends, who have not really shown a pulse outside of the second quarter. And I think that brings us to our most important point. Start Aaron Murray.
Yeah. What are you doing?
There's 2 theories going on here. Either one, the coaches are just completely incompetent and they have no idea what they're doing, which is possible. Kevin Coyle was kind of a last-minute hire. He lost Michael Vick as his offensive coordinator. It's the other option, which is scaring me a little bit as a Georgia fan. What if Aaron Murray really is looking this bad in practice to the point where Matt Sims is looking better than him?
There's no way that he could, because he was going to be the starter from the beginning. They never said Matt Sims is fighting for a starting role. They said he is the starter.
I know.
How could he practice that poorly?
That's what's scaring me. Because after an 0-3 start, I mean, I get you stick with your guys, but Matt Sims has looked horrid.
Not if your guy throws 3 picks in one game. Even the Express knew that, and they started to get changes and improvements.
I don't think it's true. But I think it's something you have to consider when looking forward. What if Aaron Murray is looking that bad in practice? I'm going to be interested to see who goes out there in week 4, even though it's probably Matt Sims, which is going to make me so angry. But it's fine.
I don't get why they keep starting Matt Sims. Does anyone actually understand why they keep on starting Matt Sims? If so, explain it to me.
And that's the theory, though.
It's just, he I guess just because he's almost a blank slate because he doesn't really have much skill compared to these other quarterbacks in here, and he'll just listen to you and be like, okay, I'll do it, and then he just goes out there and runs around for a 6-yard sack, and it doesn't look pretty.
As far as week 4 goes, the games are San Diego at Memphis. I've got San Diego. I think they're the better team. I think Memphis still isn't quite good enough to win, even if they bench Hackenberg.
Yeah, it'll still be I think it'll be a really close game again, just not win.
Orlando at Salt Lake. I'm going upset alert. I'm going Salt Lake. The Stallions are good enough to win this game. Orlando's trending a little bit down. I believe in the Stallions.
I believe in Apollos because Surrier said that was too close for that really bad team. You better get your act together or you're off the team. And they're going to come back and just whip them.
It's quite possible. San Antonio at Birmingham. San Antonio's a bad team. Birmingham is not.
Birmingham wins. We know it.
Atlanta at Arizona.
Atlanta continues their long streak and becomes 0-4.
Hey, at least we won't be alone at 0-4 because Memphis should lose too. Knock on wood. Looking ahead, Memphis at Atlanta, week 5. I'm excited for that one.
That will be the game to see who is truly the worst team.
Until then, I'm Mason.
And this is Ian.
And this was Helmet to Helmet.